So I have been on a bit of an ARPG kick as of late. I played through the most recent season of Last Epoch, Path of Exile 2's latest patch, and now I thought with the new season of Diablo 4 coming out, maybe it's about time I check it out. And this might be an unpopular opinion still, but I've really been enjoying myself, so let's talk about it. So let me preface this conversation first by saying that I have not played Diablo 4 since the very first season. Haven't touched the game, haven't gone back since the very first season. I started the vampire season, which I think was season 2, or maybe that was like the official season 1. I'm not positive on that, but the vampire season. I played to like maybe 20 or level 30 or something. I got bored and I just quit. And I haven't gone back. I didn't really see any reason to. Nothing really got me excited. And then I saw that season 10 was coming around, and I thought now's the time to jump back in. And the Chaos armor looked pretty awesome. So I thought, you know what? Been playing every ARPG. Let's jump back into Diablo 4. So first thing to talk about is leveling. After playing Last Epoch and Path of Exile 2, it was nice not to have to replay the entire story again. It was nice to not be forced down that avenue. I could just play what I wanted. And from what I found, there are a couple ways to level. You can do the Hell Tides, which is just running in an open area where everybody else is. You kill a bunch of stuff. You collect like the souls that they drop or something. And then you open up a chest. It gives you some loot, and then you get some experience from it too. That way is pretty fast, and it was decent. It was cool to see other people in the open world. Another option is Nightmare Dungeons, where you just kind of run through a dungeon. You know, you're familiar with that. A third option is called the Infernal Horde, which was a lot of fun. This is my first experience with it, and it's exactly what you would want from an ARPG. There's just tons of crap on the screen. There's there's some things that aren't great with it, namely the Soul Spires are called. You have to kill the creatures in the Soul Spire to get credit for it. To get credit for the kill, and then make the Soul Spire go away, and then you collect the currency there and stuff. But getting the creatures in the Soul Spire area can sometimes be difficult, and it just slows the whole mode down, which kind of kills it. But if you don't have that too much, then it's a lot of fun, and it was a lot of fun to experience for the very first time too. So if this is something you've experienced season after season, I could see that being a little repetitive, but for me, for the first time, it was a lot of fun. And then there's also the last option of running through the story again if you so choose. But leveling felt good. There was a lot of loot, and you're getting legendaries dropping all the time, which is a lot of fun too. Just seeing the orange shoot up, hearing that sound, that's what you want. It's exciting. It's exciting to see what dropped, and what build you could possibly pivot to or use or be overpowered for a section of the leveling. But it's always fun to get the loot to drop, and that's exactly what you want from an ARPG. And it's also fast. So with Hell Tides, I was probably done in about 5 to 6 hours. I got to level 60. Now you're not done, you're just done with the leveling process. And that was a big relief from Path of Exiles 2, which took me around like 15 to 20, maybe more, and the campaign's not even done yet, so that's ridiculous. Like, forget about leveling an alt, for me at least, through a 15 to 20 hour campaign, and I'm a noob, so just take that with a grain of salt. But it was fast, it was quick, and another thing that I appreciate about D4 is you are fast to get your build online, and that's exactly what you want. You want to play the build, and in the end game, you want to refine that. You want to go in there, you want to do what you've seen in the videos, or what you envision in your head, and you want to do that as pretty much as fast as possible. Yeah, you want some sort of journey there, but ultimately you just want to get your build, you want to have fun playing it, and then in the end game, that is where you refine it, and you add the little details here and there, but ultimately you just want to play the build. End game, you refine it, and in D4 you can get online pretty fast, and I appreciated that. And then so that was the whole leveling process. Right now, I'm currently into T2. I've not found all my items yet, so I'm still working on that. So there is a chase to items and to, like I said, perfecting that build, getting in those final pieces, and then refining it ultimately. But the season mechanic for this time is there are chaos powers, which is borrowed power, which from my understanding, is in every season. But there are chaos powers. It's fun. It adds like a new way to play different builds and with different classes. Each class has a chaos power, and different ones you can stock it into your chaos build. Then there is a new boss in the Infernal Horde, which is cool. I cleared him a couple times. And then there is the best feature, which is the Chaos Armor. So there are these unique pieces of armor that instead of it being strictly a helm piece, it could be like a helm, chest, glove, whatever, which opens up to different possibilities and adding a little bit of craziness into the build, and giving your build a little more fluidity and a little more creativity in these builds to experiment with what can I do here, what can I do there. If I got this piece, I can supplement in this one. But it just opens up the build options and the build paths, and it gives a lot of freedom, which is really, really nice. And it seems like that's something Diablo has been lacking. But like I said, I'm not an expert. I haven't played since the original season, so take that with a grain of salt. But for the end game, so that's where I'm at now, and I can talk on this a little bit. I'm currently in T2, and like I said, I am still working on like the final parts of my build. I'm missing like 2 or 3 set items that I really want and kind of need for my build. And this might be new, but so it was new to me. But as you go up difficulties, T2, T3, T4 is the last one, I believe, but you lose your resistances kind of like you do in Path of Exile, which I wasn't aware of. So there is still that, a little bit of complexity with the gear, but not by any degree of Path of Exile. It's not like that at all. It's a little more, it's easier, it's a little more approachable, but there are still some stats and stuff that you have to balance there. And then, but like I said, the Chaos Armor gives you that, that avenue that you can work with to put in those different gear items and then see what kind of crazy stuff you can come up with. So in the end game, it looks like there are different options that you can push the pit, which is how you get to the different difficulty levels of Torment, 2, 3, 4. And then ultimately, I think you aim for like the goal is like 100 or 120 or something for like a pit level. There are boss fights that you can go through, and they have different ways to target different uniques and legendaries that you're after. You can go through, and different boss fights will drop those. And then there's also the option of the completing your season journey. So if you're not, looking to push like, the 100s, 120 in the pit level, you can complete and just do the different objectives of the season journey to get a reward. And then there's also the paid battle pass that you can just play through and try to get all of the items out of the battle pass. So, that's not the best example, but it is there, and it is something that people, like to do and drive for and complete over the season, is completing the battle pass. So I got to throw that in there too. And something else that is an option that for me, like I said earlier in the video, that Path of Exile 2, since it takes so long to level through the campaign, and again, I'm a noob, it takes me a long time. But I don't even think about playing an alt in a season of that. Whereas if you're getting to max level in 4 to 5 hours, an alt doesn't seem too bad. So there's always an option to run another class and experience a new play style, mechanic, whatever it is. Alts are an option, at least for me, in Diablo 4. So that is an option for endgame. But ultimately, endgame, out of 10 seasons, I thought there would be more. It seems like there is just something missing that should be there, should have been carried over from 10 seasons. So yes, I am omitting a lot of quality of life things, because it could be a video in and of itself. But it just seems like after 10 seasons, there would be a little more that stayed from those seasons. You know what I mean? Like a little more options in the end game. It just kind of seems like that's a little light and there's something lacking. So I still think you can have fun with the game. I'm having a good time. I'm glad I picked it up. I'll probably play it for a week or 2 or 3 or 4, depending on how deep I get. But the one thing I have to mention is the pricing of everything with D4. It is ridiculous. Like, they have a buy-to-play game, a buy-to-play expansion, and you don't need the expansion to play the new seasons. I don't have the expansion yet, and but there is a cash shop and a battle pass that are they're hidden every avenue that they can to get that cash from you. And it's ridiculous. Like the items are expensive, the armor is expensive, pets are expensive. Everything in the shop is expensive. It is absolutely ridiculous for this to be a buy-to-play game, and then everything on top of it. Now, Path of Exile is expensive too, in my opinion, but it's a free-to-play game. You're not, you're getting all the content, but whereas Diablo 4, you have to pay for the expansion to get the new class. And I did not pay for the expansion yet, and I'm not going to, wasn't going to, until there was a discount on it, which is going on now. So if you're interested, check it out. It is, I think, like 60% off or something. You can get the standard edition of the expansion for like $15, which is what it should be to begin with. Actually, it should be free. It should be free during the life of Diablo 4 because it is it's a live service game. That's what you're paying for. You're paying for, the battle pass, the cosmetics and stuff. It's a live service game. It should be free. But so I just have a hard time with that. Seeing the costumes cost like basically the cost of the base game and or the expansion normally without the discount, because skins are about like $25 to $30. The prices on that are ridiculous, and I have such a hard time justifying spending the cost of the game on a skin. Like, it's just, and they're grabbing from every area, like we just went over too. Like, it'd be different if it was buy to play and then expansions were free and then you got the battle pass too or something like that. But that being that they're charging for literally everything and that the end game feels lacking is just kind of ridiculous to me. So I get that criticism, but at the same time, since I haven't played in 10 seasons, I'm having a good time. But I just wanted to call it out there that the prices are stupid, and I have a hard time justifying paying for any of that stuff. And you don't have to, but it's cool to get a fun skin or something like that. But at $25, it's like, come on, really? And then I have to pay for the expansion. I'm gonna have to pay for the next expansion on top of this too, just to get the new class. That's the part that rubs me the wrong way, and it sucks. It sucks to see the store to be so expensive. If it was cheaper, I'd be spending no problem. $5 here, $10 there for a skin. Sure, whatever. I've gotten hundreds of hours out of this game at that point, but that's not the case. So I do want to call out that the pricing for the skins and stuff is just absurd, and the fact that you have to pay for an expansion, ridiculous on top of it. So that is my biggest criticism with the game, other than the lack of endgame content, which would be a deal breaker for some people. But I do think there is plenty of opportunity to get multiple 40 50 hours of fun out of it each season, something like that. It's not as deep and intense as Path of Exile 2, but with that comes time that you're saving. There's you can get your build online quickly, and then you have that whole end game to refine it and get those missing items, that lucky roll, master work in armor, something like that. So there are trade-offs with something like that, but if you're looking for like a deep end game, it's probably not there yet. So being that the expansion is on sale and D4 is on sale, if you want to pick it up now, I think that'd be perfectly fine because of the sale. But if you're looking for a deep end game, then you probably want to be looking at Path of Exile 2. Hey, that's my take. I haven't played in 10 seasons, so I'm having a good time. So keep that in the back of your mind. But please let me know what you think. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. I'd love to hear from you. So, let me know in the comments. That is it for the video. I cover ARPGs, RPGs, MMOs, and action games. So if that's something you're into, then please consider subscribing to the channel because it helps me out so very much, and I greatly, greatly appreciate it. So until the next stream, the next video, take care of yourself, be kind to yourself, be kind to one another, and I will see you again very soon. I appreciate it. Thank you. Take care.